actually first disagree with their definition of public because we defined it as possibility for a walk-in or a stumble upon, but it's actually in an area that's still concealed or attempted to be concealed. So, and also we defined orgies as group sex between two couples, not everyone in traffic to hop out of their car and start having massive sex in the streets. And if those people were so concerned about their jobs anyways, I don't think they would be jumping out of their cars to just have sex immediately before work. Additionally, contraceptives, they stop babies from coming, and they also stop many STDs. People are going to still be buying these contraceptives in order to stop their babies to be produced, and this will still stimulate the economy and our markets. Which also brings me to
Time.
the fact that...
1 minute.
Yeah, questions,
Okay.
yeah.
Who's we? People will still have to pay in order to take care of themselves and for their health benefits or their issues. So that's their own individual consequence, and that also will stimulate the market. Additionally, this is an individual choice. If you saw a person pull down his pants and you saw he had genital warts or if he had herpes, are you going to have sex with him right there? No. This will be out in public. You can see it in the light and you'll run away from them. You're not going to have random sex with every single person. Also, yeah.
If there's let's assume, because you did say in the park and by schools, so I'm just going to run with that. Let's assume that there are 18 people just going at it, because you said 2 or more couples, which your partner did say. Let's assume that there's 18 people just going at it. What's to stop a 19th person who has genital warts? These people are having sex, they're not concentrating on anything else. What's to stop that person from coming in and infecting the group of them?
Couple.
5 minutes?
People, if they're in a relationship and they're couples, they're not going to have an extra odd number run in and start infecting all of them. You might have said that they're concentrating on having sex, but yeah, they're concentrating on their partner, not with some random person. Okay. You also mentioned, or my opponent also mentioned, that why should there be a fall in precedent? Like a fall in all of the rules and regulations we've had up until now. Well, actually, just last week there was a fall in precedent. Don't you know about the last decision of court to overturn 100 years of precedent? So what makes this any different? We can still make changes, and these changes will benefit our society. Yes.
What was that precedent that was changed?
Actually, they overturned the idea that corporations can't help public officials.
4 minutes.
Okay. So economically, this helps us because people are going to be purchasing more contraceptives and putting money into our markets. There's less court time to be spent on sexual offenses that aren't that big of a deal, and sex equals happy people. Happy people equals better workers. And better workers at their jobs means a better social environment and a better economic environment. And philosophically, well, what right now we're doing is debate. Debate based off of philosophies and bases from philosophers of Greek and Roman times who had orgies. So socially, everyone's going to be happy. And why wouldn't you want happy people? That just makes everyone happy. And people will be more comfortable with their own bodies. And having public sex out where, even though it might not necessarily be seen by everyone, it's still exciting and liberating. And our last discussion was about sad fat people. This will make less sad fat people because they're more comfortable with themselves. And it brings people together. When everyone is able to experience, or many people are experiencing, the happiest and most ecstatic moment at that time together, it brings people together and they can experience this crazy moment all together. People feel more connected and more at peace with one another, and that'll also stop less arguments and people will be more comfortable with everything going on around them. And politically, laws against public sex, quote-unquote, public sex, will be trumped and won't waste the government's time. And also, in our Constitution, there's a clause that said that we should allow everyone to have the pursuit of happiness. Well, like I just said, this will make everyone happy. So why would you stop people from being happy? It just doesn't make any sense.
2 minutes.
Okay. And as for public indecency, that's described in the definition of the public. It's actually still in an area that is concealed, but not a private property. A private property isn't just a concealed place. There are other places that are considered public and still concealed. And again, people are making their own individual choices. If they make mistakes during that time, that's their own consequence. That's not the government, as you described this house to be. It's not their problem. And for the many versus few statement, well, many people want orgies, so let them have it. And yeah. So again, I would like to go over how everyone is going to be happy.
1
And-
minute, protected time.
Okay. So we're going to have better workers, we're going to have happier people, and we're going to have a more connected society. There's nothing wrong with having a connected society or having happy people. So I don't understand why we even have an argument about this. My opponent clearly doesn't want everyone to be happy because they're denying them their pursuit of happiness, and they're wasting time in our
30
government.
seconds.
They're wasting time in our government by focusing on unnecessary trials where someone might have just been having some fun in the park in a dark, concealed area so that no one else saw, but now we're wasting time on that instead of focusing on other offenses that are much more major. And for that, I strongly urge you to vote affirmative ballot. Yeah.
Yay for orgies.